The biggest things we take for granted as players is, who's around you, the players around you and what they bring to the table every single day. And it's not easy to win in this league, and I think that's what a lot of people get kind of misconstrued. No matter how much talent you have, you still have to make it work. You have to still put in the work and go get the job done. But I'm super ecstatic that every single day I have a chance to play in a meaningful game. I think that's one of the biggest, decisions that impacted me of coming here, of knowing that every single night I'm going to be in an important game. Every single night I may have a chance of being on television. Every single night, teams are going to give us their best. So I look forward to that challenge, and also being in a position to where we're kind of a targeted team. So every single night I got to lace them up.
Meaningful games. That was a phrase that he repeated over and over again. Richard, I know you have a lot of thoughts on this. Go ahead.
Well, for anybody that for the casual fan that only watches basketball like in the postseason and big moments, that was Bradley Beal. He's a very good player. He's been with the Washington Wizards.
Wow.
We haven't seen him in a very long time, but he's very, very talented and very, very good. Do I think the fit in Phoenix is going to be great? No. I think that they have a lot of talent. I think that they need more to do. I think the top three, great. The top three, they're going to win you between 45 and 50 games. Who they can fill around those three will dictate if they get to the 50, 55, 53, if they're the 1 seed, if they're the 2 seed. That's the difference. It ain't Bradley Beal, it ain't Kevin Durant, and it ain't Devin Booker. It's the pieces around it. We saw it with the Denver Nuggets. Yes, it was Jokic. Yes, it was Jamal Murray. Yes, it was Aaron Gordon. But Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, when you look at the entire roster, Porter Jr., when you look at Jeff Green, when you look at that roster, it was the people around them that helped propel them to the championship. And Phoenix, while they have the top, they don't have much rest.
Well, that's what we saw in the playoffs last year. Phoenix just, when they were looking for depth, they didn't have it, Zach.
You're such a grouch, man. Stop being so grouchy.
Zach is calling you a grouch.
How am I a grouch?
I'm just saying
introducing people to Bradley Beal. It's not Bradley Beal's fault John Wall's body fell apart and the Wizards stunk.
That was 5 years ago.
I'm excited to watch Bradley Beal play with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. It's a great role for him. It's a great spot in the hierarchy for him. I think he's going to be awesome. That top three, they have overlapping skill sets. There's a lot of ball handling. I think they're going to be dynamite together. Yes, they have more work to do to round out their depth. The front office has plans for that. That's a good problem to have.
Agreed.
When you have those three guys, that's a great starting point. If they're healthy, and that's a big if with these guys, I think you're nuts with your 45 wins. I think those three guys alone get you up to 50. And from there, stop being so grouchy about Bradley Beal.
You're grouchy about me being grouchy.
But, Zach, it's all about the postseason for them. Getting the wins in the regular season, okay, cool. But will they stay healthy? And will you have enough shooting?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're gonna have to make the others beat you.
Right.
That's what's gonna kind of tip the scale for them. Is like I do agree with RJ as far as like you have the top three guys, but what else? Will you have enough shooting? Will you have enough defenders?
Right.
We have bigs.
Ayton, yes.
Yeah. Well, Deandre Ayton actually. I understand Deandre Ayton and his frustrations.
Yeah.
Because what he sees right now is while it didn't work out great with Chris Paul, they did go to a finals that first year. After that, he is now lower in the pecking order. He is like the fourth most important shooter scorer on that group. So if we think that DeAndre Ayton's going to come in more locked in, more focused,
even in a limited role, he can have a huge role because if you set the screens, you have Kevin Durant, Booker, and Bradley Beal that you have to stop. You have layups on layups. And
number one picks don't just want layups.
No, that's a fact.
Well, here's the thing. It feels like we're all talking about depth. This is the time to bring in Bobby Marks because we know that the Suns, they have a big three, but who's going to fill out the rest of the roster, right? That's the question. Our salary cap expert, I hope he has the answers. So let's get to this, Bobby. What do you see the Suns being able to do here?
The veteran minimum exception, Malika, when you look at their roster, 8 players under contract. They're over the luxury tax. They're over the first apron. They're nearing the $182.5 million second apron here. So when you look at either the veteran minimum or bringing back some of their own players here, certainly Torrey Craig or TJ Warren or Terrence Ross, players like that, basically to fill out their roster here. And if they can't even go out and acquire a player in a sign-in trade right now and even if moving DeAndre Ayton because of the hard cap restrictions here. So it's the veteran minimum, bringing back their own players, and basically filling out that roster.
Okay, so quick question for you here, Bobby. Chris Haynes, he reported earlier today that Kyrie Irving, he wants to take a meeting with the Suns. How would Kyrie and the Suns even work there? Is that even possible?
Sure, if he wants to take the $3 million veteran minimum exception.
Got it.
All
right.
power to him.
All right, got it. Well, we're going to leave you to reading that 676-page new CBA, Bobby. Thank you so very much. Perk, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think that keeping Ayton is the best move for Phoenix, given everything that Bobby just laid out?
But I think Richard is a hater. That's the number one thing. I think he's a hater. One, you're not going to sit up here and tell me that Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, just those three guys alone are only going to get you 45 wins. You're not going to make that make sense to me. Second of all, when it comes down to Deandre Ayton had a problem with who? Monty Williams. Monty Williams and Deandre Ayton didn't see eye to eye. Now, all of a sudden, you bring in a new coach for Frank Vogel. Bradley Beal just talked about how he feel like he's getting a fresh start. You don't think Deandre Ayton is coming to that season with the same type of mindset? And we saw this past postseason. Your coach have to pump that trust into you and that belief into you. We saw it with the Miami Heat. We saw it with Michael Malone and the Denver Nuggets with Aaron Gordon. I believe that we're going to see a different version of Deandre Ayton if the Phoenix Suns decide to keep him. But at the end of the day, these are three of the most prolific, efficient scorers in the game. Kevin Durant shot 55% from the field last season. Bradley Beal, 50%. Devin Booker, almost 50%. Like, what are we talking about right now?
Of all the big threes that worked and the things that they had in common, right? We did that. And I don't know if Perk was watching that day. I don't know if his plane was what his situation was. But ultimately, I understand what you're saying. Those top three players can get you a lot, right? I don't dispute that. But they are three players with a very similar skill set. Neither of them are creators. Three of the best scorers that we have ever seen in the history of the game of basketball. My only issue is that you need balance. Show me a team without balance. Toronto had balance. They won a championship. Golden State had balance. They won a championship. Lakers had depth and balance. They won a championship. Denver had depth. Milwaukee had depth. All of these teams had depth. The last 5 champions, we can point to that. So when we look at the Phoenix Suns, what in the last 5 years has told us that this team can get it done?
Well, and right now the Denver Nuggets are the bar.
Well,
yes, they are.
Just fact matter. Last word on this, Perk.
Who's going to guard
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, we're going to get back to the Suns a little bit later. We're going to get back to the Suns a little later in the show, Perk. It's official. Bradley Beal, a member of the Phoenix Suns, 3-time All-Star, had his introductory press conference earlier this afternoon. So here's what he had to say about teaming up with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
I'm excited about it. Like, you have a lot of dynamic scorers who the biggest box that we check is our unselfishness. You know, all of us just want to compete. We want to play hard. And the biggest thing, we want to win. You know, and I think we all have unbelievable talents that we respect, and we unselfishly push each other to be the best we could possibly be. So I'm looking forward to it. K, Dev, DA, like, these guys are a great core piece to the franchise, and I'm happy, like you said, that you can go guard Devin and K tonight, and I can chill a little bit and not face so many double teams. A little bit more open shots, you know. I can work on my catch and shoot a little bit more, so we're good.
All right. So that's what Bradley Beal thinks, but I want to see what our resident big man thinks. It's time for your list, Big Perk. Big Perk's big list of big threes. Let's start at number 5 and count it down. Who you got?
Yeah, usually I'm at the big board doing it real big, but again, this is my list. Big Perks. Not your list, not Richard's list, not Zach's list, not Vince's list. At number 5, put it up there. Bam! I'm going to do it from the crib. Run it right there. The new big 3 of the Golden State Warriors. And I know it's questions if Draymond is going to come back, but I'm looking at Steph, Draymond, and Andrew Wiggins. And people may say, what happened to Klay Thompson? Andrew Wiggins replaced him when they actually won the finals 2 years ago. That's my pick at number 5 for as my big 3. Running at number 4. Run it up there. Bam! Here we go right here. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. The big 3 of the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James, the greatest to ever do it. Anthony Davis, top 5 talent, a top 5 big in this game today. And guess what? I am him, Austin Reeves. I know people got questions whether or not the Lakers are going to match and re-sign him. They will bring him back. This team, this core, this big 3 led them to the Western Conference Finals this year. Coming in at number 3, run it. Bam! Here we go again. Put it up there. The other big three. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm going with them boys in Milwaukee. Yes, Giannis, the most dominant player in the game, arguably the best player in the game. I'm going with Drew Holiday, one of the best two-way players in the game. Money-making Middleton. He will be back next year in great fashion and will be healthy. This team is a force to be working with. And guess what? They have actually got the job done and won the NBA title. Coming in at number 2, I couldn't disrespect them, but bring it up there. Bam! I'm going with the defending champs, the team that just won the NBA championship. I'm going with Jokic, Murray, and Michael Porter Jr. We already saw this season, this postseason, Murray and Jokic, the best duo for us in the pick and roll, dribble handoffs, the two-man game. It can't be stopped. Michael Porter Jr. showed us, guess what? I could play both ends of the basketball, and he did it in great fashion, sacrificing for the team. And at number one, put it up there. Bam! I'm going with the new look Suns. Bradley Beal, you seen how he was dressed today? He had a suit and tie on. He's about his business. Devin Booker showed up and showed out this postseason. Kevin Durant, we know when healthy, is arguably the most talented offensive player in the game. And here's the thing. We keep asking, who is going to be the guy that's going to be playing the point position? They all could play the point at times because they're all underrated players. Again, this is not Richard list, Malika list, Zach list, or Best list. This is Big Perk list.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.